You want to parameterize your ECU or query and compare parameters in it with a set of specified values? Then let's do this with CANoe. Hello, my name is Michael Webler and I'm responsible for the diagnostic features in CANoe and CANalyzer. Variant coding, sometimes called vehicle coding, is a way to set parameters in the non-volatile memory of an ECU. During development, you often need to update its software, and then the parameterization gets lost. Or on a test drive, you need to configure an ECU in a certain way. In both cases, you want to configure one or multiple ECUs in exactly the same way as before. Or slightly different, let's say switch the behavior from an ECU from left to right side. Additionally, there are typically security mechanisms which prevent unauthorized users to modify these parameters. The diagnostic feature variant coding offers a user-friendly way to read, compare, and write such variant coding data interactively, performing all the authentication and security access stuff under the hood. To use it, at first you need to configure the diagnostic descriptions and the diagnostic window itself. If you have not done that before, check out the first two videos of this series. Configure at least one diagnostic description and the diagnostic feature variant coding in the diagnostic window. Depending on the security mechanisms of the vehicle manufacturer, you will need to set relevant properties in the ECU control. For getting permission to read and write variant coding for the simulated ECUs in this demo, we need to configure an automatic session change to extended session and the certificate name for our role. For further information, check the documentation of the vehicle manufacturer's security profile. You will find the corresponding documentation in an additional ribbon of the Security Manager after installing the corresponding security add-on. Once you have done this, you can read variant coding data and compare it to its specified values by the click of one button, like so. You can immediately see the differences between the specified values and the values stored in the ECU. By default, the specified values are the default values from the diagnostic description. By pressing this button, you can read and directly adopt the read parameter values as new specified values. If you like, you can modify certain parameters before writing them to the ECU. For an ECU during development, you might not be sure whether writing parameters is working correctly. Using this button, the parameters are read and compared again after an attempt to write them. You can see the changed values in the simulated ECU. As the reading of all parameters might take some time, depending on the amount of data to be read, for an already released ECU it might be sufficient just to write the data without checking, like so, to save some time. If something goes wrong, the last operation column will tell you which service failed. It is also possible to limit reading and writing to a certain set of services called variant coding domains. In this case, only the services for the selected domains are used to read, write and compare. If there are a lot of different variant coding domains, it is often helpful to filter either by selected coding domains or by differences. Note that if a write operation was successful, the display should be empty afterwards, as there are no more differences. To save time for writing, it might be also helpful to select the parameters with differences only before writing. Let me create a difference, like here, the sedan, and then select parameters with differences. The selection column changes accordingly. If you want to save a specific set of variant coding data, just press the Export button. This will export basically the contents of the specified values column into a file. When choosing the file name, you have the choice between the vector variant coding data format, VVCD, or OEM-specific data formats, if you install the corresponding OEM add-on. You can choose to export the selection from the variant coding window or make a custom selection. Additionally, you may add a comment helping you during import to remember the contents of this file. Of course, the exported data can also be re-imported if it matches the diagnostic description which is used. If there are multiple matching diagnostic descriptions, you can choose to which of them the variant coding data should be imported. After importing, make sure that the imported domains are selected before you perform a read or write operation for them. Finally, there are some other helpful functions like switching between qualifier and names, expanding and collapsing, as well as searching. If you like, you can also modify the raw data values, for example, to test whether the ECU refuses to write invalid values, which it did in this case. That's all for this video. In the next one, we will have a look at the diagnostic feature macro recording and replay. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the Vector Tech tutorial channel, activate the bell, and have a look at our other diagnostics videos. And if you can spare some time, I will show you how to save even more time. Just watch the next video on macros. See you.